Yes, people. We are back live. We are back live on the Big Six Bands for another transfer edition episode. Obviously, the gang is in the building. Corey's here, Casey's here, Ethan here. We've got G joining as well. Monts is not in the building, so I will be holding it down. Before we get into, I'm saying, the rest of the introduction, make sure you hit the like button on the video. Vitally important you lot do that. Bump up the likes, continue to get your questions in, share this across all the socials, and subscribe to the channel Big Six Bands as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We'll start with you, Corey. What are you telling me? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just, no transfer activity around my club. So hopefully they're doing something in the dark, innit? That's all I say to that.
Nah, I hear you, Ethan. What are you telling me, my G? You bless?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Blessed, bro. Just the usual. Here to really just analyze Arsenal and dissect their team. Obviously, they're spending the big bucks.
Facts.
So, yeah, that's my main focus today, man.
It is all about Arsenal. The main news is about Arsenal. We will get to what Monts has put in the title, the joke, man. But KC's here, obviously representing Arsenal. What are you telling me, man? You good?
Come on. I'm good, man. Smiles. I wouldn't say my club's moving like a big club just yet, but we're taking steps into the right direction. We're doing what all I can ask right now. I'm not expecting everyone to come through the door, but we're targeting not necessarily in my eyes the right people, but we're targeting people that Arteta thinks is right, the players he wants, and we're trying to get them in quickly. So we're doing what we need to be doing. Can't complain.
First, we will get further into that. And G here, obviously representing Liverpool as well. What are you telling me, man? Long time. It's been a minute.
That's what I'm telling you, bro. I'm the only one who signed anybody, so I'm all right at this current moment in time. I'm just waiting for the rest to kind of come in.
So shameless.
It's nice weather. We're good, man. We're good.
Yeah,
Hope you guys are blessed.
Yeah, man. Large up the chat, like I said, continue to share across all socials. Let's bump up the likes as well. Don't know how many we're on. Let me know in the chat, but let's bump it up because I already know it's not enough. Over 55 of you are already in the building. So, yeah, let's bump up them likes and please subscribe if you're new as well. I did not do the title as well, people. Let me just clear that up. That was one.
He's getting shot, innit? He's getting
yeah. But more people will be like, "Oh, did you do the title?" You know what? Because I have so much respect for the platform and these man, I didn't change it. You know what I'm saying? Cause I thought about it. I didn't change it, people. But it's why for Arsenal hijack Timber from Manchester United. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? He's put that as the title. Actually, I do know why. Because he's a prick. But we moved. And obviously,
he's shameless.
Absolute shameless prick. And Arsenal bid 90 million right rejected as well. So yeah, here's his facts, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll start with it. We'll go to UKC. Timber, you know what I'm saying? Reports broke yesterday. It was late yesterday that he was making a bid. I believe it was of 30 million and they're looking for 50 million. But yeah, thoughts?
Bro, what I will say is Timber's a good player. This season he hasn't necessarily, reached the heights that he did under Ten Hag. But I don't think that's took away from people thinking that he's a talent. Although it's shameless to say about the, hijacking from United, what I will say is, United fans, let's not act like Timber wasn't there. Like, you lot weren't thinking about Timber. Yeah, cool, you got Lissandro Martinez in the end, but you was always thinking Timber because he didn't say no to you. Let's not forget, he wanted to come. He said, Ten Hag, please, get me. But Ajax said, and Van Gaal said what he said, and Ajax kept him. But you were still there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we're hijacking. It's not shameless or anything, but it is a player that you lot thought fondly of and did want, and that could potentially come to Arsenal. So it will just be a little funny grab. But yeah, no, I think he's a good player. And yeah, for 30, 40 mil, nice, man. I'll take it.
Yeah, because the reports did state that it was 50 million they're looking for. So would you be happy to see Arsenal bump up the transfer bid and go get him for 50 M's?
50. If that doesn't take away from our number one targets, then I'm all for it. If there's extra cash there, clearly we've got some sort of decent amount there. If we're putting in bids for players, 55 for Havertz, 30 for Timber. We're willing to put 90 up for Rice as of now. We must have some sort of money there. So if the clubs, that's what I mean. It is a lot of bread, bro. So if the clubs, flexing like that, showing people what they're willing to put down on players, then they must have something there. You know what I mean? So I'm all for it if it doesn't take away from our number one targets, which in my eyes. It's Rice.
Just quickly. Ornstein just said Arsenal plus Thomas Partey, both camps working on potential exit solution, you know?
See, that's not something I agree with. I didn't want Partey to go.
How old is
I don't want Partey to go. 28,
Going down.
29. So he's not at the end, you know what I'm saying? He's not at the end of his career. It's really not. He's 30.
Yeah, he's 30.
Okay, so
30.
He can leave it like
I guess it's one of those age. I guess it's one of those ages where it either gets better for you, or this is the beginning of the end kind of thing. So I kind of hear Arsenal's stance. Then I didn't even know he was 30, to be fair, but I hear Arsenal's stance. If a good enough offer comes in, where we're able to reinvest that money into a Timber, someone who's 22, young, versatile, a player that we need, then, bro, I'm all for it. Only if it's the right player. We can't just, take the money and run and, not do what we need to do.
What I would say is that it's a bit worrying that you man are changing up that midfield when it had success. That you're taking out Xhaka and Partey, but then the average age of the team in general goes down significantly. The oldest will probably be Jorginho, then probably Jesus, which Carlisle is looking. Probably Jorginho is like how old? Like 28 or something.
No, I'm later than that. He must be later than that.
Cool. I'll check out. Give me one second.
He's probably the most. Yeah, he's probably the most senior player. Then everyone else, you got 26, 24, 22. It's promising, bro.
Yeah, Jorginho's 31. Wow.
He's 31.
31. Yeah, the big man.
That's his page, and he's on like what, a 2-year contract. So it's not that
deep.
Generally, the squad, especially start 11, put in Rice, put in Havertz, 24. Average age is it's looking good for the near future. So it's a good foundation. Can't lie.
Oh, that's fair.
I said, Ethan, don't be jealous. I'm not being jealous. I'm like, trust me.
on Timber though.
Yeah, go on, talk about
Timber. Nah. He will be a very good signing for you guys. Quality on the ball, knows how to bring the ball up, can pass. Defensively good as well. I don't see anything too negative with this signing. I think 50 million. Well, he signed a new deal last season, didn't he? So I'd expect 50 million, 45. I think that's a good enough price. There were like Martinez and Timber. I think the season before we got them, they weren't too far off each other. They were both top talents. So we got Martinez for 50 million, I think, as well, if I'm correct. I'm not too sure. Yeah, if we did, them not being,
I think it was like 50. I'm trying to think 50 to 60 M's. I think. Don't quote me on that though.
Them two both being the same price isn't crazy, innit? And you're gonna get quality with Timber, innit? So
where does he play?
He's a right. He plays right back. He can play centre back, and he can play DM as well.
Let me rephrase that. Where would he play for Arsenal?
Right back.
I'm guessing right back. Casey's best. He's best equipped to answer that question. But I would say right back.
Yeah.
Who you talk about Timber?
Yeah, Timber. What would he play for you like if you were indeed to sign him?
Yeah, he would probably just become another Ben White. In the sense where he would predominantly start most of his games on the right, but if ever there is an injury, he can come in centre back.
Yeah,
I think he could be
better than Ben White going forward and defensively. So
we'll see, bro, because a lot of people, were saying that about Ben White. They weren't sure about Ben White, and then he ends up being one of the best right backs this season, or season just gone. So. He can only get better.
But Casey, bro, how much money have you man got to spend though? Because if you can just throw away, I mean that's it though. If you can spend 50 million on him and still go out and buy a Rice, still go out and get a Havertz, how much money have you guys got really? Like, what's it saying over there?
This is what I'm saying.
You're looking kind of comfortable.
Listen. Someone's been. Do you know what it is? I think now it's the war chest we've been, asking for, talking about Arsenal actually doing, because for the first time, I think that Arsenal are really willing to put out the full war chest, every penny plus player sales if we get some. Like someone TBG said it in the comment. I think we got about 200, 250 before player sales. I think the club's willing to front at least 200 M's to Arteta before he makes any sales. Just based off, it's the first time in how many years we've challenged and actually been excited for the entirety of the season. Yeah, it fell off towards the end, but for the most part, levels were up here. We was at the top.
You know what's getting me hot? Yeah, you man are actually doing the right thing, fam. I got to a Champions League final and then sacked my manager. I didn't even back him. Like I gave the money to Conte, Mourinho. You man are actually saying, "Cool, we're pushing, we're pressing. Let's take it to the next level." I've actually seen the opposite scenario where you don't back heavily the manager and the consequences. And you man are doing the right thing, and it's getting me flipping mad, fam. That is crazy. But yeah, that's acting like a big club to me, fam.
I rate it still. I rate it because at least this way, as you said, man, you keep pushing, and you were the only team to challenge Manchester City last season. I think if you get the players that you're linked with, if you get all of them, I said it already. I think Arsenal finish in the top 3 next season. Where that is, I don't know, but I just think they finish top 3 next season, especially with the players that you've already got. Saka, another year, developed even more. Martinelli, Eduard, one of the best players we saw last season. Even players like Ben White, even players like Gabriel, Saliba coming back into the fold. The only issue I probably have is that you are taking away, if you do get rid of Partey and Xhaka, I feel like that's a lot of experience coming out of the squad. And it's not too much coming in. You're getting 6 players, but really, who's the real leader, experienced one, I feel like, in that team? Jorginho, I guess.
Rice and Jorginho. So I think that's what it will get replaced with. Because Rice, obviously, you can see he's a clear leader. He's captain of his team. He's led his team to a European triumph. You can just see the aura that he oozes experience. And then Jorginho the same. He's won the big trophies. He's gone the length, both club and country. So he knows what he's doing. So I think that's what Arteta. He'll probably replace Jorginho next season. We'll probably get yet another midfielder next season. Because Jorginho is going to come up to the end of his contract. He might extend it for a year, but I doubt we're going to stay with that Jorginho road for a long time. But I think you're replacing the Partey and the Xhaka with Jorginho and Rice, really.
Well, you mentioned it there in regards to, sorry to cut you, KC, in regards to the business Arsenal could be doing. Obviously, people, we know they're not signed, but we're talking hypothetically. Do you think Havertz is a good signing for them also?
I think he's like he'd be an underrated signing for them. I think the way we look at it on the surface is that we look at Havertz, and we're thinking of his time at Chelsea. He's flattered to deceive, but then I think with Chelsea, unfortunately, there's just something in the water over there. Like it's just something just not right, because players seem to go there, and I'm just seeing a lot of players not really going to their full potential. I saw Werner go over there as one of the hot properties. He went there and he just flopped. This guy left, and all of a sudden he's back to exactly what he was prior to moving to Chelsea. Lukaku went back on loan to Inter Milan, and he seems to be happier. He seems to be playing more. He got to a Champions League final. I'm not really understanding what it is that's going on over there at Chelsea. Mason Mount, again, a player who was doing well for one season. All of a sudden, in this season, we ain't seen the guy. It's just weird over there. And I think if you come to a team like Arsenal, I feel like because of the confidence that these guys have got at the moment, they're on a high at the moment. They're literally on that crack. So, keep taking it. You never know where that could lead you. And I think adding someone like him to the squad, he don't even have to be a starter necessarily. I don't know how he will play next season, but even if he's not a starter, to have someone like that come off the bench, I saw Arsenal's bench options last season. I said, this is why you're not winning the league, and you won't win the league, because your bench options can't be Reece Nelson. Like however you want to pattern it in terms of the pitch, Reece Nelson can't be the guy I'm looking to keep scoring late goals in game. Now, I need a bit more quality than that. Havertz provides me with that. So whether he starts or doesn't, that's a sick option to have regardless.
No, I agree with you. Just to add to that list, Uber as well. But do you not think Havertz is not suited to this league? It's on the actual quality. I think he's just a moment of goodness or greatness. But really and truly on the ball, he doesn't wow me. And like, especially with that Arsenal system, you've got to be comfortable on the ball. You've got to kind of have IQ, football IQ. You know,
but when you're around,
strike me with Havertz, isn't it?
I think why it's worth the risk. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I think it's worth the risk because when you're around good players, Arteta's improved a lot of players in my eyes. A lot of players. He's improved basically everyone in some degree. Maybe not on the pitch, but off the pitch or whatever it might be. He's improved the entire squad. So what I see with Havertz is if we can get him just confident, bro, because you've seen Havertz when he's confident what he can do in terms of quality. So if we can just get him in a team that's confident, around players that are playing well, around because there's very much togetherness. At Chelsea, you're kind of there for yourself. I was saying it, this is kind of a bit off topic, but I don't think the Chelsea team go out together. I don't think these don't link each other outside of football. It just shows on the pitch that there's no togetherness. Yeah, there's no togetherness. It's like you just come, we see each other at football, and then after training is done, we have our own lives kind of thing. And I get that. That happens sometimes, but in jobs,
I promise you, Poch will fix that. That's one thing Poch will do.
Yeah, and maybe he will, but Havertz won't be there for that. Yeah, unfortunately, you know what I mean? Well, fortunately for me, but unfortunately,
unfortunately enough for him, because Harry says if you need good players around you to be good, means you're bad. I hear this to an extent. Like I say, I hear the Chelsea debate. You know what I'm saying? With Havertz is an awful signing. He's woeful. Like, let's call it state.
I don't know, because the Havertz at Bayern Leverkusen though, that Havertz was good.
But G, you mentioned it there, Bayer Leverkusen, where the expectation is much different.
I hear it.
It's an expectation. You mentioned Timo Werner as well. The expectation of Arsenal, Chelsea, at your club Liverpool, at Manchester United is much different. You are under the microscope. You can score. You can go 0-4 at Bayer Leverkusen. Let him go 0 goal involvement at Arsenal. It's a whole different conversation.
Retrospective, that game at Anfield. Sorry to cut you through.
Yeah, it's cool.
That game at Anfield, Havertz, cagey game, minimal errors. You think Havertz is thriving in that environment, bro? It's crazy, fam.
Yeah,
I can't wait for it. I think Arsenal do it, man. I can't wait.
You know and like Flawless is saying, I'm surprised why not enough men are out in this Havertz team, bro. 65 million for a stinky ass footballer.
You know what it is?
I'm not covering it by saying
this is what I'm saying. You guys got a lot of money.
As I said, it's if you look at his Chelsea career, it's not good. If you look at his Leverkusen career, it's good. So I'm taking all under consideration, right? If he can get him playing, I get it. We'll be the laughing stock if things don't go right. I get it. I'll fully take it. But what you need to understand is you need to be worried, because if I do get him playing,
I have no concerns about it whatsoever.
You know, I've got a player on my hands.
I have zero concerns about. I can't wait I've never looked forward to an Arsenal signing more. I can't believe it. I can't wait to hear that breaking news of you lot signing. I don't.
Ready and waiting, bro.
I don't. Without going all into it, I seen it and I was like, "What?" Was shocked. Point, I was like, "He don't even improve your first team." Yeah. And you're trying to chase down Manchester City.
So how much is Caicedo then if Havertz is 65?
Caicedo was quoted at between 80 to 100 M's, more closer to 100 M's.
So you're funding Caicedo?
Yeah.
Basically. And Man United. I'm doing half, they're doing the other half.
Yeah. We are stupid with you lot. Yeah. We do the same dumb shit. Yeah.
Don't try. We're not talking about me though, Casey. We're talking about you.
Bro, it's not. Bro, I'm just saying. No, I'm just letting them know the figures.
Yeah, this is not the one to fight. He's right. You know what I'm saying? And we doing the same thing.
Yeah. In fact, sorry. Bring up Martin's comment. Bring up Martin. Forget my money. Forget my money. I'm not funding a thing. The Saudis are clearly funding Chelsea, bro. Buying all of their stinky players, bro. They're getting about 120 M's for the deadest wood I have ever seen, bro. Oba is going for like 30 M's. Yeah. Flipping Ziyech, who wouldn't start in my club, and no disrespect, he wouldn't even start in yours. I think Kulu can cook more than Ziyech, but that's saying something, That's saying something. So Ziyech is going for bread. Koulibaly, who stinks in this league, is going for bread. After they just spent bread on him, they're managing to recuperate some of it because of Saudi. And Mendy, who doesn't even get a sniff in the Chelsea side. It's crazy, bro. Name me another club that can sell 4 players, just the deadest of wood, and get bread like that. Besides City.
Who else was the last one?
So it's Mendy the keeper.
Oh, yeah, Mendy.
Correct. They're just sending all of these man. They've already sold Kante, or Kante went on a free. I'm not sure. Like, but you know what I mean? Like, they're just getting rid of these players to Saudi. So I'm not funding Caicedo. Thank you, Martin, for clearing that up. It's Saudi. It's Saudi. I ain't funding Caicedo.
Go on, Corey. So what are you saying, fam?
It is man, fam.
I don't know about Mendy. Like, brother was so good like 2 years ago. Now
That's what I understand, bro. That's a fool of faith.
He was quoted. I'm sure he got. Did he get? No, he didn't get Golden Glove, but I think he was.
He got the best
up there,
goalkeeper.
though. Yeah, he got awarded the best goalkeeper. Yeah, so he was there. Like,
it's literally, for me, that looked like another Sanchez thing, innit? When Sanchez came to Man United, just stuff. When it was ridiculously cold at Arsenal, then I don't know what happened to him once he hit us, innit?
It's crazy.
Let's talk about this Saudi thing.
Go on.
This Saudi thing is immense. Like, even Ruben Neves, someone said it in the comments. The guy is 26 years old. I swear, United fans, you wanted him not too long ago, innit?
I was linked to him as well.
Yeah.
He walks into most man's team. Yeah, even you. And like man cried on the last day. People thought he was going Barca. Fair enough, Barca can't buy him. So he's going Saudi for mad bread. Like,
get the money. Get your bread. Like,
10 times his salary, you know. 10 times his salary.
10 times his salary. Yeah, it makes sense.
That's what I read earlier on. 10 times his salary.
Stupid money in it.
This is what I'm saying. No, Ethan. If you went home, yeah, and told your missus,
How long is this?
I'm being offered 10 times my salary. Once you've said that sentence, you've effed up, because it doesn't even matter what you said after that. You are now having to accept this because it's 10 times your bread. Simple as your bread. Simple as
10 times.
Ethan, you're going.
Someone on Twitter said, something about cleaners, innit? Cleaners get like what, £15 an hour. Imagine they were to get like £60 an hour if they move somewhere else. It's a job at the end of the day, innit?
Yeah. That's how some of these guys see it. But that's what I'm saying.
Bread. Yeah, it's nuts.
That's why when people are like on this case, it's kind of like, no, go get your bread, man. Like, what's and the thing is, 26, you can go there for 2 years and then come back. Yeah, go on.
How long is his contract if he goes to Saudi? Like 3 years.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, something like that.
Is it 3 years?
How old is Neves now?
I think it's
26, Corey.
26.
But they could come back at 30, man.
That's what I said. He come back at 30, go to a team like he could still go to a Barcelona when they get their money pattern. He might still be all right. They might just think, yeah, fuck it, why not? Get my money, come back to Barca, win some cups, win some trophies. He would have had one of the best careers ever. Guy was 16 Champions League captain to then go to Saudi, making dumb money to then come back to. I think he's all right, man. I think he's calm.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, Flawless.
Yeah, go.
Can you bring up that True Blue Clay? Look, yeah. He says that the whole Mahrez and Bernardo Silva. Look, yeah. I never said it was Chelsea's fault anyway. I just said that Saudi's funding Caicedo, not me. That's it. That's all I said. That, you know, I'm not me buying Havertz isn't funding Caicedo. You selling Obar, Ziyech, and all these stinky man to Saudi for over 100 M's is crazy. Someone else said it. Making money off Obar in 2023 is insane. How the hell Canabre, who scored no Prem goals? When's the last time he scored a Prem goal?
He scored like 4, you know. He didn't score.
What, this season?
Yeah, he scored like 4
Prem goals.
Yes, bro. You'll be surprised.
No way. I don't remember that guy.
The fact that we're saying you'd be surprised about Oba, that's jokes.
Bro. I'm sorry. He had one of the worst performances I've seen of a striker in my entire existence of watching football.
That's 34 as well.
Sorry, he got one goal. I'm chatting nonsense.
Yeah, so I was thinking, bro, when was this guy bagging? Like, what are you talking about? He ain't been bagging.
It's facts.
Done, fam. Hey, the fact you're making Yeah. The fact you're making bread off Opera is crazy. But yeah, go on, Flawless. Say.
That's not. I was just gonna say, it's over 140 of you lot in the building. Make sure you bump up those likes, man. You're clearly enjoying the content. Hit that like button. Continue to get your questions in. On the top of those two things, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Big Six Bants. Hit the notification bell as well. Hey, mods, all the members, get on job with that. Get everyone liking and subscribing, please. Speaking of that, going back to the actual title as well, with Timber. What are you saying about that, Corey? You happy about
Timber.
it? Not bothered about it. What are you saying?
I don't really care for Timber, to be honest. I would have cared if Arsenal
If
got
let him
him
finish,
last
let him finish.
season. If Arsenal got him last season, I would have cared, didn't it? But and I was obviously a bit skeptical on Martinez. Obviously, I wasn't out frontly saying I'm nervous for him, but I did have some thoughts. Obviously, the height issue was a thing for Martinez as well, but he's came to show that. And for Arsenal, as I said already, top signing. You're gonna get a top player, and he can play in different positions. So if you guys go through with this, I personally would pay the 50 M's in it. He's a top talent, and he'll be there for years as well. He's not like brother's old either. So yeah, man. Happy for you, man, isn't it? That's all I can say on that.
I'm shocked. Is this Corey?
I was about to say, Corey, you're very well holding yourself together there. That was good. Well, I'm proud of you, bro. That was good.
Bro, Ethan, this is the first time I've ever seen this.
Because the reality is, Corey's been on his knees for this Timber guy. You know, he wanted him for the long. He's said stuff like, "Oh, no, I'm getting Timber. What's this Timber?"
No, I'll be real. Last season, I wasn't it, especially when we didn't have any other centre back to help. Obviously, Varane was there, and after Varane, it was just a downhill. So once we got Martinez, obviously I was a bit nervous, but brother, you know what he's done in the Prem, and to speak about that, so I don't really care less, isn't it?
When it comes to United, yeah, this is both Corey and Flawless. Aren't you lot a little bit worried because you've got, let's say, the title is obviously Timber, Hijack, fair enough. Kim Min-jae looks like he's going by me. That's another target of yours who might potentially go. Harry Kane doesn't really look like he's going to be keeping it moving, but let's say the fee might have been too much. So let's maybe even scratch him. Obviously, the Mason Mount, you're still trying to haggle with that kind of money. Can you really pay it? Can you afford it? Aren't you guys a little bit worried that certain targets, because of your whole ownership situation, players like Timber are going to go to Arsenal. Players like Kim Min-jae are going to go to Bayern Munich. Like, don't it look a little... I'm not saying you have to be super worried, but to me on the outset, I'm looking at it thinking, ain't it a bit techie right now, you know?
Oh, Corey, go on. You
I am worried with that. This is why I just like with the players not coming to my club. Like I try to not look at that stuff because my main focus has always been the ownership. Until that's been resolved, no one knows where the club's going towards. You know, no one knows the vision of the club. So it's very annoying that we get linked to these players and we all think, right, this person could actually be, because Ten Hag's obviously looking at these players and
trying to build something good in it.
Thinking about a perfect fit for them, and then they're just going because the owners that are here now are just twiddling their thumbs upstairs, isn't it?
And maybe this may be the best time to get United targets because, like you said, it looks like they can't really, secure a target. Yeah, they've got their targets, and they've maybe put a bid in or whatever, but they're not as serious as United used to be. We used to laugh at them for overspending, but at least they got the players they wanted. Bottom line is they got the players they wanted. Yeah, they overspent the 10 M's, 15 M's more, but they got the players they wanted. Right now, they're not even doing that. So right now may be the best time to just sweep up United targets if they're players you want, because the second they show interest, you can say,
they can't deliver a vision.
They can't develop on this interest. If we can, somehow it's not too much. That's why I think Timber is not so much hijacking, but it's taking someone that definitely they would have turned to because Kim Min-jae's gone. He's still available. He wants to leave Ajax. He wants to take that step up. So it's definitely someone they could have turned back to now in this transfer window and gone and got because he wanted to come last season. So it's hijacking in a sense, but it's not direct hijacking. You weren't linked with him this season. But
in regards to what Corey's mentioned, and the ownership is the most important thing. That's what I have my eye on because we've done so much bad business because of the owners we have. Because we don't have the things in place. In terms of Monster Joke, man, with this title, we was linked to Timber last year. There was no links because he even added me yesterday. I took a nap, woke up, seeing Arsenal was in for Timber, and the first mention I got was, "Oh, this is another United title gun." And me and Muntz ironically had the conversation about that on here, and it's like, yo, I have the same, like, Muntz you can't trick me. You know what I'm saying? And that me and Muntz have the same qualities. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason he shouts me to do. We the same. You know what I'm saying? Anything he can do. Like, I get the same shit. You know what I'm saying? My IQ's the same. Like, you can't kid a kid up. So in regards to targets, we went in for Timber. So I don't look at Timber as a loss, because even with Kim Min-jae, the backups mentioned were the Axel Diassi from Monaco, and then a guy the chat may know of, but I don't know anything about, called Tadibo, I believe his name is. They're the two other names that we've been linked with. You know what I'm saying? So in regards to that, the Kim Min-jae, so the Timber one, I don't really I'm not too fussed about, because for whatever reason we weren't in for him this time around. If this was last season, definitely a hijack, because we made a bid. He didn't end up coming here. This season, I've heard nothing in regards to Timber. Kim Min-jae is the one that didn't make sense to me, because it's like we knew what the price was. Reports came out, said we agreed terms, but then I seen reports saying we hadn't let Napoli know that we was going to make a bid for him. That sentence off there. Why we did that, I don't know. But also on the flip side with Kim Min-jae, it might not have been on us, because one thing Bayern Munich can guarantee that we can't is first team football. If he comes to Manchester United, he's not guaranteed to be a first teamer. Again, this is just hypothetical, people. If he goes Bayern Munich, whether Tuchel plays a 2 or Tuchel plays a 3, he's starting. He's their best centre back, without doubt. And you're going to Bayern Munich, who currently right now are a better project than we are, and they're in a much better state. We're unstable. Targets came, reports came out. This was, I think, was it last week, saying that Manchester United didn't want to get in the transfer saga. All right, cool. With Harry Kane, you know what it's like dealing with Daniel Levy. That's the actual only player we've genuinely made an official bid for anyway. So the money's there. That bid got rejected. I believe it was 40 million. Reports are saying we're going to make a second bid. I don't want Mount. So I'm hoping the money's not there for Mount, or Chelsea just want too much money, because I have zero interest in seeing Mount. But in regards to the targets, no, I'm not too fussed. But the most important thing is the ownership. Because even if we have a 12 out of 10 window, if them same owners are still in charge, it's like, all right, we have a great season, and what do we do the season after? We sign no one, or we sign 2 free players who don't really push us forward. So that's how I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, that's is it a concern? Yes, but it's not a normal window. That's what it's not a normal window because of the ownership situation. And you mentioned it right at the start as well, G. And I was gonna get to that anyway. Nobody signed anybody by you. So when people like Muntz tried it when we was on here, and others said, "Oh, United are so far behind," who signed anybody?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's very true.
Signed anybody? So on social media, we're behind. Cool. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's Dream 11s look great on Twitter. Them Dream 11s of everybody's clubs are fire on Twitter.
No, they do.
It's true. And that's a good point, because I wanted to say, the next thing I wanted to say was about, I wanted to ask you lot about this Declan Rice situation, because it's yet another bid that's gone in for around 90 M's, I think it was, or near enough at 90 M's, and that's obviously been rejected. And people are saying that, you know, City have this 300, 400 million that they're able to spend before player sales, based because they won the treble and all of these things, and they get bonuses for that. And so I'm just hearing City have a lot of bread. Now, if City just say, like they did with the Grealish thing, where an offer you can't refuse, if they say, you know what, West Ham, we'll give you 105 million, and we can give you 80% of that right now, and what? They're taking it, bro. And there's nothing we can do about that, because Arsenal probably aren't willing to go that high. So I just don't know, like, how this is gonna go. You look, I'm less confident than I was, but at the same time, I'm still very confident. If that makes sense, it's just dropped off a little bit. But before I was, nailed on. No one can tell me nothing. This guy is gonna be here. It's kind of dropped off a little bit. I don't know how you lot see it.
Do you want Rice though? Before we answer that, do you actually want Rice? Are you with it? Okay,
I'm with it, because even before this season, even last season, looking at Rice, bro, you can tell he's a quality player. I don't agree with the 100 M's, but then again, I agree that I rate the player. So if that's what he's gonna have to end up costing, then so be it. But I'm not happy with it. But I'll live with it. If he performs on the pitch, I won't care about the 100 M's. You know what I mean? So
Like that answer.
no.
Everyone always says that about fees when they're like, but he's not worth. If you rate the player, the fee is irrelevant now. Like I rate that player. So, but people never really put it like that.
Back in it. Just to go off what you were saying, Casey. I think you might be a bit lucky because City, I don't think they want it as much as you, and B, I think personal terms are already agreed. I think he favors a move to you guys, but realistically, 100 million to spend on a midfielder is a lot of money, bro. They're already looking at cover. Like they're already cover's back is sealed. Gundogan, they're looking.
That's what's giving me.
Yeah.
That's what's giving me some hope because, I think who said it in the comments, Leo. If City really wanted Rice, he would be a City player.
Yeah,
City won't mess it. Bottom line is, if City really wanted Rice and Rice was one of their number one targets, he would be a City man right now. Or they'll be at the same stage we are at. You know, they put in bids and it's getting rejected and whatever. So that's good. That gives me a bit of hope. But yeah, no, I just want it done. I just want it done really, so that we can get this 100 million.
If you fuck up this marquee signing, bro, that's a big one. That is a big one.
I think this will be the biggest one that we've messed up. Really, I think this is worse than Mudryk.
100%. Yeah.
I think this is worse than Mudryk because throughout the whole window, Chelsea were linked with Mudryk as well, and they were putting bids in as well. So it wasn't like they were just sitting there like City and then pounced at the end. They were doing their thing, we was doing our thing, and they just blew us out the water in the end. But I feel like Rice has definitely been admired by Arteta for longer than just this season. Last season it wasn't practical because obviously they got into the Conference League and they were going to do their thing. So, and he said he wants to stay, try to do his thing. So it wasn't practical last season. Now they've come out and said he's available and he's leaving. So yeah, man. Yeah, we got to get this done, man. Just
to add to that, like, of all your other targets, I think this is the clearest one that improves your 11, innit? Like, it's blatant, it's obvious. Like, 24, he's got great attributes. He's arguably the second best CDM in the league at the moment. Like, he's solid. It's a great signing. And unlike Havertz, your question whether he starts or where does he play, Rice goes.
Yeah, I know what Declan. Yeah, I know what he's yeah.
Basmati Rice, you know what you're getting with that guy, bro.
No, pill out. Give him some flavor, fam. Man said Basmati.
No, you know, City are such a weird team, though. I feel like they'll do that, though. They'll just watch you guys keep bidding. But if Pep then turns around and says, "No, I want Rice," I feel like it will be hard. As much as I think Rice wants to go to Arsenal, I feel like it will be hard for you to turn down playing for the best manager in the world at the best club in the world. It's going to take some real London behavior for you to be like, nah, I want to stay in ends. I want to stay here, kind of thing. I don't really want to.
Some London behavior.
You know, like, it's going to take that for him to be like, don't get twisted. Arsenal are, for me, they're one of the 3 or 4 clubs that I look at right now, and I think, if there was a club that you're going to go to, you go there. It's London. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Stadium, fans, team, manager, like projects. They got everything kind of going for them at this current moment in time. So for him, he's at West Ham. They're shit. So really and truly, anything is going to be a step up realistically. But to go to Arsenal, who are challenging, you're thinking, but then there is another level of a step.
West Ham fans don't see it like that. Yeah, that, and you're alluding to it. A lot of West Ham fans, because I see it on DR Sports. A lot of West Ham fans are like, we're happy for him to go to Bayern. We're happy for him to go to Madrid. We're happy for him to go to City. But Arsenal, like, really? Like, they're almost saying, really? Like, Arsenal? Like, is that where you want to go? And I don't know. I think that's cheeky. I think that's mad cheeky from a West Ham fan.
No, 100%. 100%. West Ham are in no position to be telling anybody where to go.
I understand. I understand why they're upset because they don't want him going. They don't want their captain going to another London club. That's where it stems from.
Yeah,
I get that.
But are they even rivals? Like, there's London. That's like me saying Arsenal and Millwall are rivals. Like, obviously they're both.
I guarantee you right now, Millwall have a player of this caliber. They don't want, and it's their captain. They don't want him going to Arsenal. Not a chance. I'm saying in that. No,
I hear you though. No, I hear you.
Yeah. No, just because of that, even though they're not rivals, like in terms like that London, even though they're not rivals directly, that London rivalry is still there.
No, but then what I would say, Flawless, on the flip side is, say for a Millwall player, I won't say 100 M's because I don't think a Millwall player will ever go for that. But let's say 30. I don't know if that's their.
Let's say 30 M's.
30 M's, yeah? Cool, 30 M's. If I'm giving you 30 M's, you just be quiet and take that, like, literally, like, you know what
I hear you, Casey. No, you're right. From the club's perspective, I hear that because the club will be like 30, 40 M's for our captain. The club, but what we're talking about here is the fans. The fans ain't trying to hear that shit. The club are like 30, 40 M's. Yeah, West Ham are looking at it. Let's say it's 90 M's, 100 M's. They're saying, but from a fan's perspective, for them man who are proper West Ham, they don't want to see their club captain. You know what I'm saying? Who came through their youth
potentially be our club captain.
You know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, it's not their money, innit? It's not their money, so they don't really.
They ain't trying to.
Care about it.
There's no attachment to it. Yeah.
It's not affecting your pockets. You think about more stuff when it's coming from your pocket, innit? That's the way I see it.
Fair play.
So, they ain't trying to.
I think you say that, but you say that, but there's fans like ourselves, maybe not as deep, but that. The ultras, at least West Ham ultras are mad, you know, bro.
I know.
The club's
bro, I know one. Like personally, I know one personally, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Cats on the heart, bro. On the heart, like
there you go.
He believes it, man. Man believes it, bro.
And you don't care about your club's finances. Come on,
bro. Man knows Havertz on the back of his legs.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that money will tie you on the back of their head and that.
Like, bro, these man that die hard, bro. Like these man will ride for the club.
Man for their club, big man team.
Yeah, you can't tell them to not get emotional about football. They'll take that shit personally.
So that's where it stems from.
Yeah, they say I like when they talk about their club, they say me like they're the club. It's that, bro. It's that.
You know, like that.
Crazy.
First person.
Yeah, bro. First person.
That's why. So them West Ham, like the fans, they ain't trying to see Rice go. Like I said to another, it's not just. I don't think it's just an Arsenal thing. I think that's any club in London. I don't think they want to see him go Palace. You know what I'm saying? For example, just use them and it's not. Yes, they're not direct rivals, but it's the whole London thing, and because there's so many clubs in London as well, it is. They ain't trying to
even affects me. The reality is, I don't want them going to Arsenal. I'd rather you man grab like I don't even know.
Kai Havertz. Play Kai Havertz in the pivot.
There we go, Flawless. Literally, Kai Havertz.
Well, you wish I got Scott McTominay in my DM, innit?
Yeah, man. Just for you, my friend, great price, man. 5 million, man. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you give me 5 million.
I'll pay 5 million for my price. Just get Havertz to Arsenal. Come out my pocket.
That's it, yo. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. Hey, you lot over 180 of you lot in the building. Continue to bump up the likes, please. Subscribe. Now, let me know in the chat how many likes we're on. I don't know how many likes we're on, so we need to get to a mark. 76. So let me know how many, and we'll bump it up. Yeah, let's get 100. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We under 100 and there's over 180 in here. Let's bump that up, the likes. But that being said, G, we'll go to you because you mentioned it at the start. Obviously, you're the only actual top 6 club to sign anybody as of yet. You signed McAllister. Has there been any further links with anybody before we get your thoughts on McAllister? Has there been any further links to with Liverpool with any players? I've just not seen anything, so I'm asking.
Kefren.
Yeah,
apparently, reportedly, Kefren Turam. That seems to be a deal that we've agreed personal terms, and apparently we've maybe even agreed a price with Nice. But it's just about the potential structure of that kind of deal. Again, these are all more alleged reports. So I don't want to say anything's confirmed or anything like that. Yeah. Just from things that I've been seeing. He'd be the only one at this current moment in time. There's been talks. Obviously, we like Gravenberch. We like Kone. We like Gabby Viega as well. But I like Megan Good. I like Beyonce. I like Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? I like them. I think they're good food. But at the same time, the reality is, my girl lives in South London, so you know what I mean. Sometimes you need to deal with that kind of level of reality. No disrespect, but sometimes you just need to deal with that level of reality. And right now, we're in that reality where we don't want to spend any money. Though that is the issue that we are having at the moment. Is we ain't trying to spend even the 65 to get a Kai Havertz or the 100 mil to get this kind of player. We're literally trying to look at what's the cheaper option. All those players I just mentioned, We're not trying to sign all of them. We're just trying to find the cheapest option for us to be able to do. So it's not going to be all of them. It's going to be, let's say, Kefren Turam and maybe one other of all of those names that I just mentioned. So then you're sitting there thinking, all right, so midfield rebuild, like, what happened to the rebuild? We're still trying to do things, by the budget. That's going to be the issue, because I'm looking across and I'm jealous. I'm sitting there thinking, Arsenal can waste 65 on Kai Havertz, can go out there and get a Rice. And then I'm looking at the other teams. Chelsea, no European football at all next season. Donnies are out here trying to get Caicedo. Already got in Nkunku, got in Enzo there as well. Like, it's not making any level of sense. But then we're trying to challenge for a title, and I'm hearing the links to players that, I'll be honest, if Newcastle signed them, I'll be like, oh yeah, they'll be decent for Newcastle. But we're Liverpool. Some of these players I'm looking at, as they are good players, don't get twisted. Kefren Turam is a decent player. Yeah. Birch is a decent player. Gabby Vega's a decent player. But is decent going to win you anything? That's really my only argument to all of these players that we're being linked to. At least give me one player, as Ethan just mentioned about Declan Rice. That's someone that comes into a team and straight away improves your 11. Those names are
no questions kind of thing.
No,
there's question marks over your players. Not to say
there's too many question marks, man.
What's
just question marks.
You man, I hear exactly what you're saying, but you man aren't buying players to get you back to where you are. It's kind of the players for your level now, isn't it? That's the frustrating part. But
that's and it's. Go on, sorry.
No, I was going to say, the emergence of Trent into midfield does knock off a bit in that midfield, isn't it?
No, Ethan, stop. This is what I'm saying. I don't want to get into that situation where we start saying, you know what, we got Trent as the midfielder, we don't need to sign. I don't want to get into that situation, because that's what Liverpool love to do. We'll start chopping and changing, moving around. My thing is this year, because I know Liverpool people in the chat are going to be like, he's talking rubbish. I see it there as well. What you got to realize is this isn't 2017 anymore. We're not supposed to be. We're not a team who haven't won the league in 30 years. We're supposed to be the team that's won a Champions League, that's won a Premier League in recent history. I'm not saying that you can't sign your Kefren Turams or your McAllisters, and I'm not saying you can't sign those kind of guys, but you need to understand there needs to be a mixture of the two. Man can't just get a Kefren Turam and a McAllister and try and tell me with confidence and chest, yeah, we're going to challenge for the title next season. Are you serious?
You're saying sign those type of players, but also make statement signings as well.
Make statement signings, but players that you know can come into the team and we're not questioning. I'm not going to sit here and be like, even if they flop, regardless of whether they flop or they do a good job, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, that's a bit of a shit signing, like, or that's a player that, or maybe in 2-3 years, maybe 2-3 years. So we're going to wait another 2 years before we decide that challenging is something that we want to do. When Arsenal are trying to do something, when Chelsea are trying to do shit like this 2-year thing that everyone thinks that Klopp is this type of miracle worker, bro, lightning don't strike twice. So don't think it's necessarily going to happen again.
Just to back you up and to disagree with the chat, like, when I'm saying you never made marquee signings, Thiago was a marquee signing, bro. Arguably one of the best midfielders.
What's Van Dijk? What's Alisson?
No. But even to come back at everyone in the chat that's saying that, hear what I'm saying then, yeah? All of those marquee signings that Liverpool signed. So if you even want to say your Van Dijks, whoever you want to name me one marquee signing that Liverpool signed and we won something. And I'll wait. How many years did it take? We signed. You see all the players that we signed? Andrew Robertson we signed in 2017. Gini Wijnaldum we signed in 2016. Mo Salah we signed in 2017. Van Dijk we signed in 2018. Fabinho we signed in 2018. When did we win the Premier League? 2020.
No, but that's not fair, because when you guys signed your players, didn't you guys made a Europa League final and you made a Champions League final after that?
Corey, what did we win?
You didn't win anything. I can't deny that.
He's got a point.
This is what I'm trying to say, is that we're not in 2017 anymore. This isn't 2017. This is the point. This is why I feel like people always get it twisted, where they're trying to say I'm potentially dissing these players. I ain't dissing these players. They're decent players. Like, I wouldn't mind these kind of players at the club. But are you then you're then accepting that we are back in 2017, still trying to get to the top of the mountain? I thought we cleared that mountain. I thought we was there. We give the big chest and say that we're the only ones who can compete with City. If so, act like it. Act like you.
Imagine you lot did sign Kefren Turam, you got McAllister, but then on top of that, you go get a Caicedo. What does that impact have? Then
straight away.
Yeah,
But
you're
you
like,
know what? You know what's so mad? Even if he flops, he's still gone out there, and it's the psychological of making a
It's the
statement.
intent, yeah. You've shown that, man.
You've
We're
shown
not
some
here to
level of
play, bro.
intent.
I'm
We're
trying
not
to get
here
the
to
big boys
play,
out
bro.
here.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, is that I'm not saying these guys are dead. So people need to start understanding what I'm trying to explain. I'm not saying these players are dead. I'm not saying that they won't come in and potentially, but I promise you now, every single player that Liverpool have been linked with, none of these guys are at the top level. None. Like none of these players are players that you would say, yeah, they're playing at the top level. They're top level players. So you're expecting them to come into a top side and just bang. It's not going to happen. So it's probably going to take a year or two where they can develop, play under Klopp, tear. No problem. I've got no problem with these players developing. So let me just know that in 2 years' time, then we'll have this conversation about talking about a title. For the next 2 years, let's just keep quiet. Let's just go on about our business and just watch everyone else win stuff.
Hopefully,
Because that's
Montel
what
echoes
we're
that.
doing.
Hopefully, Montel echoes that.
But he's Monts is going to think, because Monts will probably realistically think that players like a McAllister, obviously they come in. The midfield is so shit that, and I'm not dissing McAllister again, but we, like everyone here, we know levels. Like we know players at the top level. McAllister's not one of those players. He's a good player, but he's not a player.
yeah. I fully know what you're saying.
But then again,
we're not talking about players like a Valverde or even like Chouameni. Like we're not talking about those kind of players. We're talking about players who might get there and potentially in the future. Yeah, they could. I'm not saying that he's not good enough to come into a team surrounded by other top class players. But all of our top class players are either 30 years old or declining. So where is the next batch of top class players to be coming into the team and doing something? I can't rely on Kefa and Thuram, a guy I've only seen play against fucking Lorient. I can't rely on flipping Gravenberch I've seen sitting on the bench for Bayern Munich for a season. I can't rely on McAllister, who his biggest thing is helping Brighton get into the Europa League. I can't rely on these guys to come in straight away and keep us at the level that we're supposed to be at. Yeah. Don't lower the expectations, and that's what a lot of Liverpool fans are doing. They're just lowering that expectation.
I was going to say that because the expectation, and that ties back to where I was talking about Kai Havertz, the expectation at Liverpool is much different. There's much more pressure on McAllister, on a Kev from Thuram. Like, you can't be a part of no team that's just been beat 5-1 at home to Everton by Sean Dyche's Everton. Like, that's going to be a conversation.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. That can't happen.
That can't happen. That's a conversation.
You know, like the 7-0s, that 7-0 Man United, you know, you just can't be in things like that.
People still talking about it now. You know what I'm saying? In that, because you know what I'm saying in that. Like, people still,
that's etched in history, bro.
Facts.
Etched in. I
don't talk about them anomalies, man. I let it live. I let it live.
You know how cheeky Liverpool fans are gonna be. You know the next game at Old Trafford when you play Liverpool, you know man are gonna be wearing that 7-0 top. Like, it's just gonna be so shameless. Like,
I won't be surprised if at Anfield they just start selling 7-Up cans just for no reason. Like they'll do something.
Yeah. The cheeky things like that. Yeah.
But do you get what I'm? But do you get where I'm coming from? It's like, people think that the two can't be right. Like, I'm not saying these guys are dead players, but if Newcastle signed the players that we're linked with, you're gonna sit there and think, oh, you know what, that's decent for Newcastle, because you're not looking at Newcastle like a big team like that to really come in there. But Liverpool, I'm looking at players like City are so fucked that they can go out and say, you know what, I'll take Kovacic, a Champions League winner, very experienced international, a very good player. Yes, he's been a little bit injury prone, but you know what? He comes in and he's already at that level where he's coming straight, if they sell whoever, he comes straight into the squad. That's calm. Whereas we're looking at players where you're like, yeah, give him 2 years, he'll be there. Why am I got to wait 2 years, bro? My son will be 5, 6 years old.
It's not even a guarantee.
Exactly, it's not even a guarantee, bro. Like he might wait 2 years, find out these guys are not good. Then you still got some of these old players. Like, there's too many ifs and buts. And what I think Liverpool are holding on to is praying that Jurgen Klopp can just do something with these kind of players and blah.
Again, like he did last time, like he did previously. Yeah. People are
but again, what do we like? And I know Monts will never let me. If he was here, he'd shut me down. Well, you got to realize.
You know what? Well, G's not so. The floor's yours. You know what I'm saying?
when it comes to Liverpool, what you got to remember is, and I know Liverpool fans won't like me saying this, the guy is very good when it comes to the build-up, the climax, and winning something once. When we're talking about being consistent, winning multiple times, that's not something I feel that Jurgen Klopp is really good at. I feel like one-off days, I think he's probably the best manager in the world at stuff like that. Like in a one-off game, he's too good. Like I've seen his record. He can do his thing 100%. But when we're talking about, but can we go again next season? You won the league last season. Guess what? We're going to go again. We're going to go straight away again. There's not going to be no drop off. You can't go from trying to get a quad to this. I look at the manager straight away. I'm just like, bro, you managed this team to almost a quad, but you then managed the same team.
Yeah, two games. 2 games away from a quad. 2 games.
2 games away, bro. Now, cool. You know what? We didn't win the quad 100%, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. But then you as the manager, I'm looking at you to then, like, if Man City don't win at least 2 trophies next season, I've got to look at Pep Guardiola. Clearly, you ain't motivated these guys.
Yeah.
But that's the pressure that I expect you to have, though, as the manager. Now, Man City are a little bit different and maybe an anomaly because of the money and etc. But you're supposed to be a world-class manager. I expect that. I don't expect these drop-offs, and then I don't expect the players to be giving excuses and this, that, and the other. And then I don't also expect the club to then move like we're fucking Southampton and going out and signing players for 30 mil, and then we're looking at other players, but we don't want to go past that 40 million mark just in case it goes into the budget for our centre back. I'm like, brother, like you're making my head hot.
That's how we used to move. That's how we used to move. Listen, I know you're frustrated.
And look where that went. And no disrespect, look where that took you. We
spiraled into nowhere.
You just
we spiraled into the abyss, fam.
Yeah.
Bro, you just spiral into the abyss because you can never catch up, because you will never have that 100 million to spend on a player. That's why I think that now that we're there, we have to capitalize, because bro, I don't know when I can next be there.
100%.
I wasn't there for 20 years.
That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't there. Let's be real. The year Leicester won the league, I was there, but I was never challenging really. Like I was there, but it's not like this challenge, bro. So I haven't been there for nearly 2 decades, bro. Doing niche, not challenging, not having the bread. Can't be. But God, do your thing, man.
God, Ethan, what was you gonna say?
No, I was just agreeing with Casey. Sorry, not saying nothing.
Yeah.
Nah, for real, like, and legit, that's what it is, and it's refreshing to hear a fan of their own club talk like that. Because if any of us would have said that, someone would be like, "Oh, you man are just hating." But the fact that you're saying that there, G, people.
No, but the thing is, I've heard you guys speak about Liverpool. Listen, Monts, when I see you next time, I'll tell you. He knows I'll tell him. But when I've heard you guys speak about Liverpool, I'm like, but you're speaking facts. So I don't know what the argument is even about, like, because the reality is.
Oh, thank you, G. We need to get G on here more. I smashed the like button, man. I smashed the like button for G, fam.
Man.
They don't want to hear me say it because they know that it will just make the club look bad. But at the same time, you got to be, you're going to have to be honest with the assessment. Unfortunately, we're in this situation. Arsenal, to me, look like the club best placed to challenge Manchester City. 3 years ago, man was not saying that. Man was not saying that 3 years ago. How did
even
you go?
Last year, before this season, man wouldn't have said that.
Wouldn't have said that. But how like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm looking at Manchester United. Heck, even if you don't sign anybody, I'm still looking at you thinking, you know what? Slightly, you can probably even still finish ahead of us just purely because your players would have had an extra year. Rashford will be another year into his thing. Malacia, all of these kind of guys, as much as you might not like them, they would have had an extra year in the Premier League, blah, 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 blah. We're banking, we are praying that these players get back to the top level. Just bear that in mind. We are praying all of these guys get back to just being the players they were 2-3 years ago.
Like the Hendos of this world, the Robertsons, the Matips. These are going to have to...
But we're praying that he goes back to prime. Alphonso Davies is a shitter left back compared to Robertson. We're praying he gets back to that level.
Yeah,
that's what we're praying. We're hoping Henderson.
He was at that level, though. He was at that level. I'll give it to him. He was the best left back in the world at one point.
This is what I'm saying. We're praying that these things happen, and everyone's going to say it's just an anomaly. It was just a year ago. Exactly. It was just a year ago that I was sitting here, my chest was high. Now I'm sitting here just keeping quiet in the background and praying that something good happens and you guys drop off. Then we're good. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not nice, man. It's not nice.
I fully hear what you say. Like I say, it's always refreshing to hear, you know what I'm saying, and that, like, fans of their own clubs, because you go through it. I know Corey has, I know Casey has, I know when you're critical of your club, people want to hate. And you mentioned it there when you said, people say, you're making the club look bad. The club is making the club look bad. How Manchester United have been ran is not my fault. I have no bearing on the decisions being made at the football club.
Me saying nothing. They don't see my messages. They don't see it.
If they did, we'd be in a better
Who
place.
I am. They don't know
Trust me. If they knew me, please.
Them man don't
You know
know
what I
me.
mean?
If they knew me, they wouldn't like me.
Yeah, real talk. If they did, they would.
Yeah, I was gonna say bring up that comment, man. G Kits and G. Yeah, that's it, man.
Brought that comment up, like 110%. In regards to, we'll go to United next quickly. We're gonna close out very, very shortly. Corey, what are you saying? Obviously, we had the bid rejected for Mason Mount. Reports are saying we're going back in for him. Obviously, we're linked to FC. We get linked to everyone. So if there's anything you want to in particular bring up, feel free to. Because like I say, every day I wake up, we're linked to somebody new. You know what I'm saying? Before I go sleep, we're linked to somebody new. So you're saying, Corey, floor's yours.
I don't know anymore. Like I'm linked to the world. Everyone knows Man United is just linked to anyone and everything. We're just like we're one badders, you know. We're just I've spoken to this one, I've spoken to this one. I've got the listing. I've actually got the listing of how reporters report us. So we're interested. We're speaking. We're curious. We're dabbling. Like there's just bare words as to how
someone sent me that on Twitter as well, fam. Someone sent me that. I've got that same list. Yeah. Someone that agree with that.
We've never actually like put a bid in or tried to get these players. So when like it's getting silly, isn't it? It's getting so silly, and we just really need clarity on this takeover situation. Like we need clarity ASAP. I'm seeing reports that Ten Hag's furious. Like brother could be leaving. Like he could just say like, I'm not. Like, I just
take it with a pinch of salt.
Bro.
That's why how true. I don't know the source though. Someone in the chat.
Wait, Ethan. So you see how we don't get sent that goodness?
Yeah, mother's love. You see, by the way, just for everyone here, Corey, we have a group chat where we said football's content. Corey said everything but that. So
I ain't heard a sniff for that.
Hold on a second. I just want to make things clear. Ethan, seeing as you're saying that I don't send in all of that stuff. Why aren't you sending that? The England camp was feeling that Kane should put in a transfer request. Why did you send that one? Oh, you didn't see it? I know you did. I haven't mentioned that to you, but I've seen it. You know, I'm waiting for you to send it, but you will never send that stuff. Don't come around here like that I'm not sending this. You might not do it too. I've seen stuff about Arsenal. I've seen stuff about Liverpool.
That one's killing me. That one is killing me.
The takeover situation, we just need clarity on that.
Absolutely.
It's getting silly, isn't it? And it's now like we was told how many months ago that we would have some clarity on it. I thought last week
you were sold in March. I remember when you man told me end of March you're gonna be sold.
Maybe it might be me. Maybe I'm not good at business and I don't know how this stuff really and truly works. You know, maybe
you get excited, Corey, which is cool.
5 years to take over a company. I don't understand this, innit? So just like you can at least let me know who you're gonna sell it to. Like, come on, like give me something. Give me some clarity, because if the world knows who we're gonna sell it to, at least now they can say, boom, we're gonna be selling it to him. It hasn't happened straight away. This is the money that's coming in, so we haven't.
They're not gonna do that though, G. That makes that cool. You know what that is? That brings the excitement level from here all the way down to here, because the known no one cares about. The unknowns what everyone wants to know. So the fact that they just stretching it out, bro. Do you know how many millions they're getting for this? Every other day or every week they send out. You know what? This guy could be closer. You know what? Nah, this guy's closer. You know what? They're even, you know. Let me just think. Like, you know what? Bro, the way they keep doing this, bro. You lot's excitement levels are like this, bro. United fans are like this, bro. 1 second they're up here. Oh, it's Qatar. It's Qatar. Next thing is, we gotta wait a bit. It's the stock price. The stock price is here. Like, it's going crazy. We're selling. Like, bro, you man are just like this, bro. But
you know what it is now? It's got to the point where, like, I'm not even searching or trying to find out nothing. Like I don't. Yeah, I care.
That's the best thing to do, Corey.
I'm so I'm in the same boat. Yeah. It's just whatever in it. Just allow me something. You've done me in like my emotions.
Oh yeah.
You
That's
know
the
it
other
is.
one. Qatar's formed a company. They formed a company. Stefan Qatar. That's the next thing I was hearing. It's just insane. I just need to bake, relax.
Yeah, just take time. Take time.
Take time, fam. When they say we grab the bait, United fans love grabbing the bait, fam. They don't take anything. They're starving.
I'm just praying. I'm praying this is the last dance of like the Glazers doing all of this, like waiting months to give us some sort of information. Like that's it. That I think that's what's keeping me going, isn't it? The hopefulness that this is the last dance of them. Because if we do get Qatar, like that's it. Like the Glazers are gone. Like I'm not going to be sitting here furious that now money's been randomly taken to fund them man's holiday and all of this nonsense. Because that's what them have been doing with our money. So just some clarity on the takeover situation. That's what I'm mostly interested in. Flawless.
Nah, I hear that, man, and I've been the same boat in regards to like looking for some, but I know it's not going to happen. That's why I take it with a pinch of salt. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, I get asked about it, I'll speak about it and that. But in regards to anything, there's very few people who know what's going on in regards to this takeover. It's very few. So, and obviously everyone's looking to, they know this drives clicks. It's Manchester United. They know this is going to drive numbers to whatever platform you are on. Like it's a great conversation and it's something people do want to discuss for various reasons. So yeah, like I said, I knew this was going to take time. Clubs don't just get sold like that. This was always, look how much, you know what I'm saying, and that. Yo, if you use your card and you're out and about using it contactless and you spend X amount, eventually you got to put your pin in. You know what I'm saying, and that. So if you're moving, am I lying? You know what I'm saying? When you reach a certain amount,
you try move 5 billion. You try move 5 billion like that. We'll see how that goes. Yeah.
See how that goes. People don't understand. They are dotting every I and crossing every T with this. See what I'm saying? This is not no regular thing. This is not 5-6 billion we are talking about.
One of the biggest clubs in the world still.
Yes. You're talking one of the biggest franchises in the world. Yes.
Are you not losing faith though? Like this has been going on for some time.
Nah, because I knew it takes time. No. I knew it would take time.
You still think it will happen?
This is why I've not lost. I'm not going as far as to say it will definitely happen, but just looking at it again, I look at it from, like Corey said, you don't know how this works like that, neither do I. I just look at it as we got two people bidding for something. One is significantly richer than the other. So I'm going to say the guy who's rich is more likely to get it. Simple as that. Because you can offer more money. Whether it works out like that, I'm not sure. Big up to Ibby for the super chat. Significantly. Big up Ibby for the super chat. He says, if we get rid of Partey and Xhaka, do you expect our new midfield to gel immediately? Or you think we might start the season slowly? I think it'll take time. We'll go to you on that, Casey.
I say it will gel immediately because really and truly, what's changing is, Rice coming in for Partey, as we're hearing the Saudi reports, and it would probably be a Havertz or a Lavia coming in for Saka. I think the team and the way Arteta plays, Arteta can have most players coming into that midfield and doing the job. You know what I mean? I although it's hard playing in the Arteta system, I think it's also easy because of the way the team works. You're never really alone or isolated in a position. So I think the team will gel fine. I don't think it'll take too long. Yeah, there'll be a bedding in period, but I don't think it's the 6 months, year that we're. I think we'll be, there and thereabouts again this season with these signings. So I think it'll be sweet.
All right, calm.
I don't think it'll take too long.
I hear that. AB, big up for the super chat. Big up to everyone who's locked in. Like I say, big up all the regulars. Big up all the new people. Hope you lot enjoyed the show. Months will be back when Big Six Banter presume will be going live tomorrow. So keep an eye out. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Go subscribe to G's channel as well. You can see it there there in his name. So make sure you do so. Subscribe to Sarcasm City TV. But like I said, hit the like button. Subscribe here.
One more thing.
Six Bants. Yeah, go on.
One more thing. Just before you lot ain't running away with this one. Iqbal, Corey, just quickly, just a one.
I was just about to ask the same question.
Just a one-liner for me. Just a one-liner. Not too long. We won't spend.
I tell you what. I found out something, innit? Go on. I
just want to know 1 million for Iqbal. Let me know.
I tell you what. I found something interesting, innit? So the club he's going to is Ten Hag's old team, innit? Yeah, and he's looking. Apparently, Ten Hag's looking to buy that club eventually, innit? So I feel like there's more to this story, innit? You can't, and if not, if it's just he's getting sold, that's the end of that. I'm furious, bro. Brother is a talent. He is.
Well, they said there's a signing on. Like a sell on, but like a bit significant sell on thing with it. So
brother's a real footballer.
Cool. If he becomes a baller, I just think 1 million a permanent transfer. To me, that screams the player. The player said, "Either I'm playing or I'm cutting." That's what that screams to me. I think $1 million. It doesn't make sense to me how you could let someone go for $1 million. We've seen players in the under 21s or whatever it might be get sold for way more than that, and they're nowhere near this guy. Because I've actually watched him play a couple times, like a couple of games where he's decent. So yeah, just $1 million is crazy to me. But as you said, if you know the ins and outs that it could potentially become something bigger than it is, then it might turn out not to be.
Yeah. I just think he's a top talent, isn't it? He's a top talent, and for him to go, it's just poor. I feel like personally, you got to be getting rid of the Fred and McTominays before you even look at the Iqbals and all that stuff. Even send him on loan, even on loan. But then obviously, not every player likes to be sent on loan. Some of them like clarity and like to play for the club that they're actually signed for rather than going on a loan.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit tough, but I wish him the best in it because he's going to be a top talent.
Definitely wish him the best. Yeah, in regards to it, I'm like, all right, cool. Like youth players get let go of all the time. We vastly overrate. When I say we, I'm talking about Manchester. We vastly overrate our academy players. I haven't watched him, so I can't say he is. But one thing I will say is, if we lined up this season and it was Casemiro and Iqbal in the midfield, our fan base would hit the roof. So that tells you what you need to do. We vastly overrate what's it called? Our youth players. How many times have we heard top quality talent? How many of these players leave Manchester United and do anything? How many players again? James, the guy Garner who's now at Everton. This happens all the time, man. I've seen this happen. So this player is such and such a top talent. We sell him, and who is it? Show me. Someone tell me in the chat the KDB and Salah from United's academy.
Remember Januzaj?
When does that happen to us? Januzaj, he was cold for us, and then he just disappeared.
Januzaj was cold.
You know what I'm saying Januzaj, TBG. Januzaj didn't do any. What did he do after us? His hype was like. That's why I don't worry. The 1 million, maybe, but I hear on the price point. But yeah, we know we sell bad. But in regards to losing him, I'm not gonna cry. Angel Gomez is he went. Did he go? Was it Marseille? Did he go? Where did he go?
Yeah. That was a big one as well. Angel Gomez.
Angel Gomez, who there was a hype about. Plus, I know his cousin, so I heard like a lot. Like I knew about him from young and that. And then that's why I don't even fuss until someone shows me what's it called in it. Like I say, show me the Salah and KDB from our academy that we let go, man. I'm not fussed about. We got more pressing issues than losing Zidane Iqbal. I'm sorry.
Fair play. You're right.
We got much more pressing issues. Forget selling Zidane Iqbal. How about we sell the club? You know what I'm saying? That's what. Please, I beg. But yeah, love to everyone who's locked in. Large up to everyone who has locked in. I say G's back. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Subscribe here to Big Six Bands because they're doing great work. Love to everyone who has locked in, and I hope you lot enjoyed the show. Big up.